much of energy. Generally, it will be there. Have you seen it? Suppose if you take egg, you will get this much of energy. So they will give like that. What is that unit which we use in it? What is the unit which we use it? Okay, let me say. Generally, heat energy will be measured in one unit, and that unit is called one minute. Okay, so that unit is called calorie. Have you heard about calories? If you eat egg, this much of energy you'll get. If you eat milk, sorry, if you drink milk, you'll get this much of energy. So like that, generally they will say. Have you heard about calories? And when you are doing some exercise, you can burn this much of calories of energy. Generally, they will say like that. Have you heard that word? Unmana? Right.
Yes, sir.
So, have you heard about calorie? Have you heard about calorie?
Yes, sir.
Right. Calorie is what generally?
It tells the amount of heat energy released.
Hmm. Okay. Actually, calorie is nothing but it is a unit of a heat energy. Okay. Unit of heat energy. So heat energy generally will be measured in terms of calorie, and 1 calorie is equal to, generally 1 calorie is equal to 4.2 joule. Strictly say 4.18 joule, but it is nearly equal to 4.2 joule. So 1 calorie is equal to 4.2 joule. Suppose if I say, if you eat egg, you will get 2 calories of energy. Then if I ask you to find out that value in terms of joule, what do you have to do? Anyone? Suppose 2 calories of energy you will get by heating egg.
Sir, 2
Then
into 4.25.
very good. So 2 into 4.2. Like that you have to do. So you can convert from calorie to joule by using this relation. So calorie is a unit of heat energy. Okay. Now you know that what is a heat energy. That also I explained in a previous class. What is it again? Tell me. Anyone? Priscilla?
Sir,
What is
can
a
you
heat
repeat?
energy? What is a heat energy? What do you mean by heat energy?
Sir, the hotness or coldness of an object.
Okay. So you have to say like this. It is a form of energy which gives us sensation of either the hotness or coldness. So that is called heat energy, and heat energy will be measured in calories, and heat energy flows from hot object to cold object. So that's what we learned in previous class. Okay. And apart from that, what we are going to learn in this particular session, that's what that's what I'm going to say. But before that, few more parameters related to the heat you have to learn. Okay. And whether I explained about temperature on that day. Okay, Unmana, what is joule means? It is the unit of energy in SI. Generally, maybe you know that to measure any physical quantity, we need a
Yes.
unit. Okay, we need a unit, and that unit, whatever we choose, will be of 3 different types. Among them, CGS, FPS, and one of the main system will be there, which is called MKS. And that MKS system was modernized That means it was replaced by one more system which is called SI, System of International. And in System of International, the units which are there will be accepted all over the world. So it is a world recognized system of units, SI system. And in that SI system, the unit of energy will be joule. So 1 calorie is equal to 4.2 joule. Okay. So joule is what? Joule is a unit of heat energy in SI system. That's it. Okay. So 1 calorie is equal to 4.2 joule. Whether I explained about temperature on that day?
Yes, sir.
What do you mean by temperature? Anyone? Temperature.
It tells how hot or how cold is the body or the object.
Arna?
Temperature tells us the hotness or coldness of a body. Same as sun.
Okay. Priscilla? What is temperature?
Sir, the sensation of heat.
Not heat.
Sir,
Temperature.
can I?
Tell me, Bhavya.
Sir, I'll just try. Sir, I think temperature means the coldness or hotness of our body or any object.
Okay. So temperature is nothing but the degree of hotness or coldness of an object will be called temperature. Suppose two objects are there. In one of the object heat energy is more and another object heat energy is less. So then which one will have more temperature? The object which is having more heat energy will have high temperature. The object which is having less heat energy will have less temperature. So generally temperature will tell us how much heat energy is there in that object. So that's why only we define like this. The degree of hotness or coldness of an object will be called temperature. Tell me,
Temperature.
Vatsala. Vatsala, tell me.
Sir, the degree of hotness or coldness of a body is known as its temperature.
Very good. So the degree of hotness or coldness of an object will be called temperature. Okay. Now so far I said about calories. Calorie means what? It is the
Sir,
unit of heat energy. Okay. Bhavya, tell me.
nothing, sir. I was telling whatever you said.
Okay. So calorie is a unit of heat energy and we can particularly we can define that unit also calorie, and that is nothing but the amount of heat energy required to raise the temperature. So again temperature term must come. So that's why only first I will explain about temperature, later we will discuss about it. Okay.
Okay.
Right. So now temperature means what? The degree of
The
hotness
degree
or
of hotness or coldness.
very good. The degree of hotness or coldness of an object will be called temperature, and this temperature will be measured by using a device called what? Thermometer. See here. What the
Yes, sir,
device
this is
will
an
be?
alcohol thermometer.
It is alcohol thermometer. Different types of a thermometers will be there. So that
Yes.
also I am going to explain. But first you have to understand that the device which is used to measure a temperature of a substance or an object will be called thermometer. Okay. And here whatever is there in your slide will be alcohol thermometer. And what this alcohol will be called? Here alcohol is there, no? What this alcohol will be called? This alcohol will be called thermometric liquid. What it will be called? Thermometric liquid.
Thermometric liquid.
So what do you mean by thermometric liquid?
Sir, the
Thermometric liquid.
alcohol present in the alcohol thermometer.
Okay. So thermometric liquid generally whatever the liquid or whatever the material which we use to measure the temperature will be called thermometric substance actually. As we are using alcohol liquid here, that's why I'm calling it as thermometric liquid. And the thermometric liquid must be chosen in such a way that if you are heating any if you are keeping the device in touch with any object which is having some heat energy, then whatever the thermometric liquid is there in that or thermometric substance is there in it, that must have a uniform expansion. What it must have? Uniform expansion for all the temperature ranges. What must be there? Uniform expansion must be there. Again, tell me what do you mean by uniform expansion? Can you guess what is uniform expansion?
Sir, can I try?
Okay, try.
Sir, I think like when we check use the thermometer to check the temperature, the thread it more like it shows us the temperature, and the thread moving and showing us the temperature is called uniform expansion.
Okay. Any others? Uniform
Sir,
expansion.
sir, can I?
Tell me.
Sir, in
Kushal.
always in the same amount of heat, it should expand the same amount. Like it
Okay, good.
shouldn't expand more once and less.
Okay, okay, good. Suppose if I heat or if I made one object to touch here, which is having 100 degrees Celsius, suppose. Before that, one object is there which is touching this alcohol thermometer that is 90 degrees Celsius. So when 90 degrees to 100 degrees temperature is changing, then how much it is expanding? How much this alcohol will expand? Already you know that whenever we are heating any substance, definitely they will expand. So on the basis of that principle only, this particular thermometer is actually constructed. Okay. Suppose 90 degrees to 100 degrees, if you are heating any object, then how much expansion will be there for alcohol? Suppose if I heat one object from 0 degrees Celsius to 10 degrees Celsius, then also it must have same expansion. So expansion must not be unequal in some equal intervals of temperature. So uniform expansion must be there, and that type of material only must be used to find out the temperature. That's why any thermometric liquid or any thermometric material which we are using to measure the temperature must have uniform expansion. So this is what one thing you have to remember. And here whatever the diagram is given, in that diagram which type of thermometer is there? Alcohol
Alcohol
thermometer is
thermometer.
there. Okay. And apart from alcohol thermometer, generally which type of thermometers we use?
The digital
Mercury.
thermometers.
Mercury.
Right. So nowadays we are using digital thermometers, but before that mercury thermometers were used. Why only mercury was used?
Sir,
So
because mercury, it has less stability, and it is the best metal which shows us it is the best liquid metal which shows us the temperature correctly.
So
okay.
can I say that it
Okay,
has
tell me.
uniform expansion? Yes,
Very
so
good.
mercury expands and also it can like and also it can go up, like it can measure a lot of temperature, like very hot and very cold
Okay.
temperature.
Okay, okay. So your answer is almost all right. Generally, mercury will have uniform expansion. Uniform expansion means for what temperature ranges, it may be 90 degrees to 100 degrees or 0 degrees to 10 degrees. If difference is 10 degrees Celsius, how much expansion is occurring for this range, same expansion will occur for this range also. So it will have uniform expansion. Why we need uniform expansion? To show accurate temperature, we must have uniform expansion, and that kind of uniform expansion will be there for which liquid? Generally mercury. And apart from that, mercury will not wet this material. So that's why we are using it. And mercury generally it will be of silver color. So as it is silver color, definitely you can find out the temperature easily. Apart from that, alcohol also, alcohol whatever you are using, it will be in a red color. Some color mixing will be given to alcohol, and it will be in a red color, and by using this red color thread you can find out temperature very easily. Similarly, as that particular what mercury is a metal, one kind of a liquid metal, and that will be having some shininess, and because of that you can find out the temperature easily. It can be you can recognize the temperature easily. So because of these reasons, generally mercury will be chosen to mercury will be chosen as what? Thermometric liquid actually. So if you see some thermometers in your laboratory, always which type of thermometers we use? Generally mercury
Sir,
thermometers only we use.
sir,
Okay.
even alcohol thermometers are also used during
Alcohol thermometers also will be used, but alcohol thermometers generally will be used to find out the temperature of the atmosphere, but they will not be used for practical purposes. Why? Because it will not have that much of uniform expansion like mercury has. So whenever you are doing some experiments to find out accurate temperature, we use mercury thermometers only. But to measure atmospheric temperature, which is somewhat difference will be there in it. Suppose if one alcohol thermometer shows 38 degrees Celsius today temperature, so it will not be accurate one. It might be slight change also. So uniform expansion that much will not be there for alcohol when you compare with a mercury. So that's why only mercury thermometers are more reliable than alcoholic thermometers. So uniform expansion will be there for which one? Generally mercury. That's why we use mercury as a thermometric liquid thermometric liquid in thermometers, some of the thermometers. But whether it may be alcohol or it may be mercury, on what principle generally you will measure the temperature? On what principle you measure the temperature? By using which logic we can measure the temperature? Tell me anyone. On which logic we can find out the temperature of any object? Priscilla, can you hear me? Priscilla,
I don't know, sir.
okay. Vatsala, can you answer? Vatsala, Bhavya,
Sir, can you
Vatsala, tell
repeat
me.
the question?
Vatsala, tell me.
Sir, can you repeat the question?
Okay. Mm, sorry, what question I asked? I forgot. Uh, on what principle thermometers are measuring temperature of any object? By which logic we can measure the temperature by using the thermometers?
I didn't understand the question.
Okay. Suppose you got fever. Generally, where we go?
Hospital or like to
Where,
the doctor?
right? We'll go to the doctor, and when you go to the doctor first, They will take thermometer and keep that thermometer
Yeah.
in our mouth generally, isn't it? Or jar. Sometimes they will keep below the tongue also, isn't it?
Mhm.
Right. So generally they will measure temperature by using that particular device called thermometer.
Sir, can I
Yeah.
answer the question?
Okay. Let us Vachala to give answer. After that,
Okay, sir.
right. So thermometer will be kept in your mouth, and after that they will remove and they will see, and they will say temperature. And what logic they will say temperature of you?
So, like, so the mercury is like the only metal at room temperature. So, like, mercury will, you know, see what, I don't know how to explain. So, like, whatever temperature it is, it will go down to that. So then they can tell that what your temperature is.
Okay. Bhavya,
Sir, I think it's uniform expansion.
uniform expansion must be there for a thermometric liquid. If uniform expansion is not there, whatever the values you are measuring with a thermometer, that will not be correct.
Yes,
So
sir.
that's why we are using mercury. But
Hmm.
on what principle you are finding the temperature? That is what I am asking.
Sir, because anything
For
is
the
heated.
markings,
Sir,
Okay,
because
Priscilla,
anything
tell
is.
me.
sir, because of the markings, we're able to tell.
Okay, markings are there. That's why you are able to say. Okay,
Sir,
apart
can
from that,
I?
what is the logic, Bhavya?
Sir, because if anything is heated, it expands.
Very
So,
good. That is only the principle. If anything is heated, definitely it will expand. Alcohol will expand. Next, mercury will expand. So only one material is there which will contract actually when you are heating. Do you know which material will contract first? All the materials will expand when you are heating, but only one material will be there which will contract when you heat, and that too for particular temperature. Do you know? Anyone know which object will contract when you are heating it?
um,
Bhavya.
sir, I
Okay.
don't know. I'll try later.
Okay. Okay. Priscilla, Vatsala, Arna, tell me which object will contract when you are heating?
In liquid.
Which liquid?
Water?
Very good. Water will contract when you are heating. And apart from that, if you take rubber also, if you are heating it, what happens? Instead of expanding, it will contract, right? So these two materials will be there which will contract on heating, but almost all other substances will expand on heating. And based on that particular principle only, thermometer will measure the temperature of any object. How? Suppose thermometric liquid, we are using alcohol. This device only we are taking. First, room temperature is 28 degrees. So then the thermometric, sorry, this alcohol, whatever thread is there, that thread will be there here. And suppose some hot object I brought, and that to that hot object, this particular alcoholic thermometer is contacting. That means it is in touch with that object, very hot object. So when a hot object is touching this alcohol thread or alcohol bulb which is there here, then what happens is heat energy will be transferred here. When heat energy transferred, it takes that heat energy and expands. And it expands in such a way that how much heat energy you are giving, that much it will expand here, and thereby you can measure the temperature of it. So anything will expand on heating. Based on that principle only, which device was constructed? Thermometer was constructed. And can we use rubber to measure the temperature by using thermometer?
No, sir.
Why?
Sir, because like rubber is an insulator for heat and it does not conduct any heat.
Okay, and on heating it will contract. Instead of expanding, it will contract.
Contract.
Okay, so that's why we cannot use rubber as a thermometric material. Okay, so this is about thermometer. So generally, what thermometer will measure? Now tell me.
Temperature
Temperature of
of
any object. Okay, so to measure the temperature of any object, the object must touch the thermometer or not. Have you understood my question? Suppose I
yes.
want to measure the temperature of one person who got fever. Whether thermometer must touch him or without touching also you can say the temperature
Sir,
of
we
it.
can, sir.
How we can?
Sir, by lasers, I guess.
By laser guns you can do. Laser guns are invented very recently. So that is recent advancement in our daily life. But I'm asking generally old one. Can you measure the temperature of any object without touching it? Now you can even find out the temperature of our body by using that what nowadays guns are coming, ultraviolet guns are there.
Yes, sir.
So
And now for thermal screening, like
uh, for
what is thermal
for therm
screening?
for
They
thermal
look like a
screening.
gun only.
Okay, so for thermal screening we are using ultraviolet radiation. By using that ultraviolet radiation, we can find out the temperature. That too by without touching any person. But in olden days, whatever the device which is there to measure the temperature is nothing but a thermometer. And to measure the temperature of any object, thermometer must touch the object or thermometer will not touch the object.
Sir, anything is anything we can. No, no, no. Sorry, thermometer. It has to touch.
Thermometer definitely has to touch. That's why only I asked you. Whenever you got fever,
Yes, sir.
you'll go
I
to
got
doctor, and after going to doctor, what he do is he keep sorry, he will take a, thermometer and he'll put that thermometer in your mouth, or he'll keep that thermometer in your armpit also, isn't it? So thereby you can
yes,
he can measure temperature of your body. So
yes,
without touching, he can't find out temperature. But nowadays it is possible. Okay.
yes, sir. But these days thermometers are outdated.